Hey everybody, it's Marley K. Hope everybody is well. Tony, you want to do it live. Everybody want to drive by in the loud car and cut the grass. I tell you what. Anyway, um, today I wanted to do a live because I want to do an thank you video for my supporters. Um, share with you some of the things that are going on in my life. Um, and just kind of talk about some of the things that are going to be happening to all of us. I just consider myself a bellwether for all intended purposes. So let me see if I can minimize my screen. So, one of the first things that I'm going to do before I get started is show my appreciation to everybody who gave for my campaign. And I had 17 donations. I did not meet my goal, so I'm gonna go into all of the other stuff. But let me share my sincerest gratitude for everybody that contributed. Y'all really helped me out this month. Um, I wouldn't know what to do if I did not have your support. So I'm just grateful. Y'all don't know how much I have prayed and cried and just had belly aches and just went from worrying to not worrying. And so I'm just grateful. But anyway, let me get into my thanks. So I want to thank Latonia King, Craig Copeland, Latonia King again, Latonia King again, Tina Hawkins, Carlton Overton, Kelvin Horgain, Vanessa Dantes, Davinia Blair, Brianna Jordan, S. Garrard, I think that's Garrard. Yes, Garrard, Randy Townsend, Jennifer Fields, Wiley Whaley, P.M. Baker, Kelvin Horgain, I'm sorry, Nordia Reed Balk, um, and those are all the ones that are showing up right now. So, of all the people that have donated, like I can't tell y'all how blessed I feel that you were able to support me in my time of need. Well, hopefully one day I will get out of this situation and won't have these issues. But until then, like I don't know how things are gonna work out for all of us. So let me explain to you what happened. Um, I was able to do a lot this month, except for pay the rent. So, because I only met half my goal. So, it was kind of like robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak. But anyway, my work has picked up because, just like I anticipated with Trump, this administration, a lot of the illegal things that they did with the funding, so the courts are now finally getting to the point where they're like, okay, that was illegal, you can't do that. And so now all these um, funds are being released, but it's months later, so everything is late. So now there's this backlog of opportunities that are coming out. So like this summer I'm probably going to be swamped, and I'll be able to recoup what I lost earlier this year if things go right. And like you can't really like I say, you can't depend on this system or this administration anymore, but I don't really have any choice because I don't have any other alternative. I have been applying for jobs. You apply for jobs, you get interviews, you don't hear anything back. Um, One of the things that I'm concerned about is like what happens when people start their their credit starts getting bad because they can't pay their bills. And credit worthiness is a part of employment. So, it's just like we're going to constantly keep running into these issues. And I see more and more people like giving up because there's not hardly anything you can do if your job is going away, you don't get unemployment, you uh you don't qualify for certain types of benefits, especially if you are a self-employed person. um, your employer may be withholding your wages, or you may not get pay increases to keep up with inflation, the rise in mortgages, insurance, rents, etc. It's just so crazy how all these things are like catching up with us at one time, and I'm just like, I don't really know what to do. But anyway, I'm believing the Most High is going to make a way. But I do think things are going to get a lot worse for all of us. So, it's really important that we just consider you could lose everything. You could be homeless. You could be without a lot of stuff. And I don't think that most people really take this stuff into consideration because of all the things that I guess because life hasn't become uncomfortable for a lot of people. As long as you can still go to the grocery store, as long as you still have a roof over your head, you can pay your light bill. Even if you're barely scraping by, you feel like you're okay. But everybody is like just a few paychecks away from not having a roof over your head, or not having utilities, not having um, clean water, just things that we have taken for granted in this country. So, one of the things that I had going, I told you I had an interview. Oh, I don't know if I told you I had an interview. So I had an interview with a company out of California to do some work similar to the work that I do as a consultant. And I went through all this process. I went through an interview. I had to sign up for a background check. I had to do yada, yada, yada. Then didn't hear nothing from the people. Like they rush you. You wanted to, all these interviews in one week, giving out all this personal information, and then you don't hear anything back. Like I don't understand how all of this is supposed to be safe. Like we have to risk so much now to relinquish our information to people we don't even know, and you don't even know if you're really talking to people who are actually employers. Like it's just wild. I just really don't understand. um so that was deflating because I thought I was going somewhere, and it was going to be an hourly gig where you get paid 40 hours a week, work from home, um reviewing documents. Um, and that's kind of what I do now. So that didn't come through. And then I had an opportunity to do like a program director gig for an old client that I've worked with on and off for the last, I'd say probably 15 years. But it's one of the clients that is kind of wealthy. And I was telling y'all about that person some time ago where the person didn't pay me for some work that I had done. So I hadn't worked with them in a while. And so they are a little better off now. They have their programs up and going. Um, it's a program for independent living children who are in the child welfare system. And I just, hey, Prince Campbell, how are you? Welcome to the chat. So yeah, this world it is really getting shaken up, and it is forcing me to really rethink everything. Like, it's one thing to talk about it and prepare, and I know God got our back, but I also know that we're not supposed to be comfortable during this time. Like it's going to be like the Exodus leaving Egypt. We're going to be crying when we leave here, and I'm starting to see why we're going to be crying, because it is just going to be so unbearable. Not unbearable, but it's going to be so different. That transition is going to be painful for all of us. So I just I don't know. I don't know. I have been, thinking about this and what to do, even with my own circumstances, like just being here in this place where I am, and it's our own people. Like I rent from Israelites, black people, and they don't care. Like they are overcharging for um, rent. They are basically have you living in substandard housing. They want their money on time. They don't have any consideration for what's going on in the world today, and it's so disheartening. It's like, don't you realize that I'm a bellwether? What's happening to me is going to happen to everybody. A lot of people have been getting notices that they have to leave public housing. Public housing is getting stricter. I talk to everybody about the eviction process. So if you get evicted it's like you're served, then that goes on your record. So when you apply for some place to rent now, if you have that on your record, you can't rent for, and they have time frames. So if it's within a year, within 3 years, within 7 years. So there are going to be a lot of people who are homeless, like can't get a place to live because the screening process for um, rentees is now where you have to not have evictions. But in order to get assistance for a lot of places, you have to have an eviction notice. You have to have an emergency. So you can get help, and then the landlord could decide, okay, I'm gonna take this money, but I still want you to move. Then you don't have a place to stay. So it's just like, what do you do? Like everything that I could have done this month, like nothing has worked out for me. Like the only thing that worked out for me is I have work. Like my work has picked up, and like I said, I'm backlogged, but I'm still waiting to be compensated, which I figured now is coming because I ask before I take any assignments. Do y'all have money? Are y'all paying? Is this money already allocated? Do you have it in your coffers and can you release it? Because I don't have no time to be playing around with y'all. That type of thing. So, it's just difficult. Now, going back to the story about the person that I was going to work with, he wanted to hire me as a program director for his program. And like I said, I'd worked with him for years, and he kind of didn't pay me. Not kind of, he didn't pay me one time. So I just kind of just backed off with his, and he's one of us, rich. Um, Brother is a former retired NBA basketball player. But they have this church charity like mindset and would pay white people to do repair work, but wouldn't pay me for my work, which was, I guess, not valued. So I kind of was salty with him, and I didn't want to work with him anymore. But he called me one day out of the blue and was asking about something, and we started talking. And he was like, "I always thought about you being my program director, yada yada yada." And the years of experience that I have, like I could command a six-figure salary, which I would never do because actually what this person does is charity. It is taking care of orphans, and I've been in foster care, so I would never just exploit him. But he offered me, look at this thing, it's just booting people out of the I don't know if it's booting out or booting people out of the live stream, but the stream is just going back and forth, the number of people in here. So oh wow, okay, thank you, Prince Campbell. Yeah, I have been talking to God. It's like, what am I doing? What's happening? Like I feel like I'm being punished. And I know it's really a setup, it's being set apart, and I'm really having to rely on him. And it's hard because when you are hyper independent and self sufficient because you have not been able to rely on people, and then all the things that you've done in the past to be hyper independent because people have let you down or not, you've not been able to rely on people. When those things fail you, it's like you don't have anyone else to rely on except the Most High. And I'm just a firm believer that he's going to make a way for me, um, no matter what it is. But I can tell you one thing: all the preparation that I've done over the years has helped me through this period. If it wasn't for me just putting back for the last say 3.5, 4 years, really, let's say 5 years, um, I would probably be in a worse predicament than I'm in now. I've not missed any meals. I have everything that I need. You know, hygiene products, cleaning products, canned goods, foods, flowers, um, seeds, it's just everything. So I really have been blessed in that regard to just be able to hear from the Most High, do what I'm supposed to do as far as putting away, storing for the bad years that are coming. But the thing that I'm not prepared for, or I just, I can't fathom, is the homelessness part. And so the guy, going back to the person that I'm telling you about, that person that has the position in Georgia, we were getting ready to move on and sign a contract. And with his place, it's in Georgia, it's in the mountains, in a rural area, which is good. But I would have had to relocate, which I don't have a problem with because I don't have any attachments here. And I would have free housing because I would have a cabin on the campus where the children live. So it would be wonderful for me at this time in my life. But then the owner of the program, his wife was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, late stage. And so everything is on hold now. And I'm like, what else can go wrong? So I'm just like, oh my God, every time I get my hopes up high and there's some hope, Satan is like, nope, give me that. So, and I can't say it's Satan. It might just be the Most High testing me to see if I'm going to do something else or do something weird. So you just never know. But it's been really, really rough this last month. Just lots of setbacks. And I want to give a shout out to my sister, only Pamela's Way, because she understands. She's going through something similar, and I just know a lot of our people are going through this. People who are trying to live set apart and trying to do the right thing, they are really going through it. So I want to just encourage you all to, keep up. Um, just keep hope alive. Like that's something for real. Faith, have faith. Put your hope in the Most High, because the things that we are getting ready to go through, it is wild. And that's why I want to talk about some of those things. So one of the things that um, has been happening, I don't know if y'all been paying attention to the news, and they have been spraying the skies like crazy, but they're talking about a meteor might hit. The ring of fire is on fire over there in the Pacific Ocean. And so they're expecting this huge volcano to erupt between Alaska and California. And we're going to have huge tsunamis. Nobody's talking about it. Um, COVID is back. And I don't know if it's because it's getting sprayed with cootie bugs or what, but y'all be careful being outside in fog, in rain, letting that stuff get on you. I don't know what's in the air. And this stuff travels via the air now because they have these nanobots, this nanotech that can live. and all kinds of stuff. So just be careful. Make sure you're taking care of your immune system. Um, be aware of what's going on outside because I think that's how this stuff is traveling now. There are a lot of things going on with earthquakes. I don't know, nobody's talking about the earthquakes, but lots of mini earthquakes. And we are overdue in this country for a huge earthquake. I think the last big one we had was like in the 1800s, and it destroyed Charleston, where I live. I live in South Carolina. So it destroyed a lot. And this is the earthquake that they said had the Mississippi River going backwards, and it just did a lot of stuff. Um, you have to pay attention because I think a lot of things are happening. We talked about um, the taking away or the changing of the social safety nets. So as the social safety nets change, there are going to be a lot of women and children who are homeless. They maybe your family members, and a lot of these women have lots of children. So I don't know, what they're going to do because I know it is a lot to have. If you're used to your space, you have to accommodate little children and change and helping. And this is going to be a challenge for all of us. My cousin just told me that my aunt has dementia. He works, he's a painter, he travels all over the country. And his sister, just him and his sister lives in Atlanta. So they're going to need a caretaker. So like everybody has something on their plate. Hey, Radical, no, Sabot. There aren't many people out there to trust. Never was, never will. I agree. I agree. I kind of always knew that. Um, I kind of always knew that. Just because I've lived in a place where I wasn't related to people, and I grew up with people who were in my family who mistreated me. So the first people that I knew I couldn't trust were my family members. Then when I was in foster care, I learned, I had to learn how to figure out who was good and who was bad, who was for me, who was not for me. And the majority of the time, I always trusted people to be like me, and they never had the heart that I had. They never treated me the way that I treated them. And as I've gotten older, I've never had a huge friend pool. And even like the one best friend that I had, she betrayed me. Um, and we fell out. And so we don't talk anymore. I just, I don't really have friends. There are not many people you can trust. And then people are not appreciative, they're not loyal. And I hate to say loyal, like you people, you if people do something for you, they owe you something or you owe them something. But it just seems to me I have overextended myself with people, and when my time of need comes, it's like, oh well, I'm sorry, I can't help you. You have to do better. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Good luck. And I can go through my bank account and just name all the people, just all the times that I've just given out money freely to people, my time, something that, most people cannot, um, that you can't put a value on time. And that's something that this society doesn't value. The time that you commit to helping raise children that are not your children, tending to your family, that type of thing. I've had to put a lot aside to help family members, my sister, my brother, my father, my mother, my own children, my spouse, my ex-spouse. And it's just like I just pour, 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 and you don't have anybody to pour into you. So I think when you're chosen and you're that special person, you kind of know what the Messiah must have felt like because people don't care about you unless you're doing something for them. People don't care. So Radical New Sabot says, my mom lives on HUD with my brother and his spouse. They were to move in February via voucher, and mom became frustrated at the office staff stalling. Oh yeah. There has been a lot of stalling with the and I think they were stalling, and I'll just be honest. When I was talking about the agency that I worked for and was withholding money, one of those that program was a HUD program. So that was right around the time when everything with HUD stopped. So that is probably why your family's voucher wasn't approved, or they like stalled the process, because they still have not released any money. They still haven't done anything. I'm still not paid for the work that I did for them, and they are essentially trying to disband or cut drastically the budget for those HUD programs like Section 8, um, public housing assistance, like changing the rules so you can't stay there for a long time, that type of thing. You said, I disclosed to her about the earmarks grants being withheld and to be cognizant of the fact that money may not come, right? And that may lead to their homelessness. Absolutely correct. And that's what I fear. And that's one thing that I've been trying to warn people about, is that withholding that money, a lot of landlords didn't get their rent in some places. And so, because those people didn't have their rent paid, the eviction process started. So, it is going to lead eventually to a lot of people being homeless. So, everybody should be preparing for homelessness. And, if you have relatives that can take people in, I mean, it's just a reality at this point. These people do not care. They do not care about anything. You have a president, like I said, who has filed bankruptcy 90 something times, which means he does not care about paying his bills. But he wants you to pay your bills. He wants us to pay taxes. He wants us to pay our fair share. But the rich don't pay their fair share. So this is basically a money grab for everybody, and we're going to be left on the hook. So we're going to be homeless. We're going to be hungry. We're going to be out here fighting. You're going to see an increase in squatters' rights. This is why these squatters' rights books laws are on the books, because people are going to be breaking into extra homes, empty homes, and just living in them, because they're not going to be able to afford any place to stay. And then you're not going to be able to get these people out of your property. And when you do, they'll probably destroy it. So it's setting the stage for something very ugly, but it's all planned. It's all done on purpose. Um, you say, I tried to buy a home for us, but my brother began stealing from me. Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. Um, Folks like to kick you when you're down. I can attest to that. They like to kick you when you're down. So it's just really, really going to be difficult. A lot of the subsidized housing is full, especially the housing for persons over the age of 50. Um, I don't know what we can do. I really don't. It's a catch 22. It really is. And a lot of these programs that are set up to help people to prevent homelessness, they have so many obstacles and challenges, and they ask you for so much stuff that, a lot of times you get frustrated. Like, I've gone to try to get assistance, and I just like, I can't, it just is too much. And then, um, yes, it is definitely going to take love to make it through these times. You're gonna have to fight to survive. And a lot of people don't really think about that. Yes, we're gonna have to fight to survive. You cannot make. We need love, but the world has waxed cold. The love of this world has waxed cold. People are very selfish right now in this moment. So I don't know, like I said, if a switch is gonna flip and people are going to wake up and be like, yeah, we're together on one page. I need you, you need me. But, there are so many things going on with people. People are just miserable. Like I was talking to my dad yesterday. He's miserable. I don't want to talk about the things because I'm live. If I wasn't live and had my face showing, I might would say some of the things that he talked about. But he's 75 and he's talking about how lonely he is. He's married and lonely. Um, Works all the time, so he doesn't have to stay at home. And then, he was like, I have, a lot of work and everything, but I'm getting older. I don't have people to help me. I got sons, they won't come help me. I need to do some work on my house. I can't get nobody to do that. So, and his house is paid for. His wife is retired. She's at home. She doesn't try to do anything. So, and I hate to say is fairly wealthy, but she retired. She got a large sum of money and it's invested. So she has resources to do things and she just looks at the money. She's 60 something years old. So I really think that the Most High is going to come through and snatch everything from everybody, and we're all going to be looking at each other crazy, and we're all going to be forced to work together in order to make our ends meet. I mean, it just is what it is. So, um, things are falling apart slowly. Um, a lot of these federal programs that we've relied on, they're not going to exist. And for me, I have to be concerned about that because that's the nature of most of my work. So I'm gonna have to pivot. And I got a message from a viewer who gave me some wonderful tips that I have to go back and look at on how to reinvent myself because one of the problems I have is I'm over experienced, over qualified for a lot of work. And so people don't want to hire you. And then you're older, so there's ageism that I have to encounter now. Um, you have to worry about employers not paying you what you do. So there are so many things happening that we can't control, but we can do things to counter or soften the fall. I guess that's the best way to say it. But I don't know what to do about the housing crisis. And I don't think people are really prepared for it because you think about the housing market like in Florida. Florida's housing market is like really bad now. People are leaving their houses and whole communities are empty because they can't afford the insurance and the mortgage together, which is by design, but nonetheless, people are leaving the state. You have the Canadians and foreigners who don't want to be in the United States anymore. So they're leaving their properties, trying to sell them or just walking away from them. So there's going to be an oversupply of housing, but you know who's going to buy them up? BlackRock and all these secret public private partnerships, these asset management companies. Um, they're just going to go around, buy up these properties, hold on to them, and we'll own nothing and be happy. So at the end of the day, it's very challenging for me and for a lot of other people to just make it. Yes, the neoconservatives. Um, but it's everybody. We just have a crooked nation. Period. Our political system is broken. Both sides, liberals, Democrats, Republicans. It doesn't matter whether they're white Republicans or black Republicans, white liberals, black progressives, white progressives. It doesn't matter. The whole system is just broken. Everybody is corrupt. Everybody is working against the poor people and the middle class people to to support and protect the wealthy, the 1%. And you can see it happening now. They control the government. They control everything. They control the presidency. So, we have to prepare to be without things, maybe even a house. So, my recommendation is start looking for shelter, or places that you can shelter. Yes, you're right. Bill Obama and Biden were Democratic conservatives. They very much were. They did things that gave the appearance to be liberal, but then they would turn around and do punitive things that also punished poor people, or made life harder for poor people, and basically help put the country into more debt. You couldn't see it when they were signing the bills, but you see the impact of it, decades later. So, um, and a lot of wasting money, lots of money has been wasted, funneled to um, nonprofits and organizations that, like you said, are conservative, that benefit, and I think of Billy Graham, for prime example. Billy Graham, he was almost like the Pope. Every president, he and his family had ties to the White House, and they have Samaritan's Purse. They benefit. The government pays them, you know, millions of dollars every year to go to war-torn countries and take care of the poor people. And it's like, you wouldn't have to do that if you stop blowing up stuff. So, it's like they create a problem, then they create a solution. And we always have to pay for everything. So like right now, we just in debt up to our eyeballs, and we can't afford to get out of this. This society is going to collapse. And I don't know when, but like I said, I'm expecting something big to happen the third quarter of this year, and things to go downhill subsequently. Um, just by the sheer nature of things, it's going to be hurricane season. We got these volcanoes erupting everywhere. You have this weather modification, geoengineering happening. We have illnesses that's likely going to cause shutdown. If we have one more shutdown, it's a wrap. So I can see that happening, especially now since they made known that the pandemic treaty is complete. Um, they're still talking about climate. So all this bad weather is going to lead to a climate emergency. Lots of Sunday law, Ten Commandment laws are being put on the books in states. So that's something else to watch for, because that's part of this no buy, no sell system, the day of rest, which is going to be the mark. You're either going to choose the Most High's day of rest or the adversary's day of rest, which is Sunday. So pay attention to that. So a lot of stuff is coming down the pipe. And they still have these laws where I want to say by September, October, we may end up going to digital currency. So, I'm expecting a rough summer. So because they're gonna need to destroy, as much as they can of the infrastructure. You said I drown myself within books, and oftentimes the exposure of what was and has become can be trying. I agree. Um, I try to stay grounded in reality. I try my best not to get into too much escapism. I think the most escapism I do is music. I like listening to different types of music. So I listen to a lot of Latin, um, uh, Afro Caribbean, smooth jazz, um, gospel, depending on what type it is. Um, okay, okay, yeah. So I don't know, and I try to read my Bible as much as I can, and watch um, people teach um, from the Torah, and break down some of the lessons about end time prophecy, what's to come, so that I can be prepared. I'm trying not to do too much escapism, because I don't want to be like everybody else. Because whenever whatever starts kicking off, people are going to be very they're going to be in shock, and so people have to, like us, will end up essentially either being leaders, or we'll know, when everybody starts running one way, we'll know to go the other way, or be the gray man and kind of pretend, okay, this is happening now, so I need to behave in this way, and not draw attention to myself, especially if you've been preparing. But it's going to get rough, and you can't talk to people about it. People don't want it. Nobody wants to hear about it. They don't want to know about what's coming. They don't care about what's happening in the air. They don't care about um, the water, the ocean, calls for tsunamis, the volcanoes. It's just people are just beaten down, and it's only going to get worse. So, I just wanted to come on and thank everybody for supporting my campaign earlier this month. Um, like I said, I haven't been able to pay my rent for this month, so I'm gonna either have to pay it by today, or I'll have to be out by June 10th. So it is what it is. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And you have to make these crazy decisions. Do I put my stuff in storage and go stay someplace? Do I attempt to stay here and go through the eviction process? What do you do? So I don't know. I'm thank you. I appreciate it. Um, I don't know, So I have all day to think about that on the Shabbat. but it's gonna keep occurring because I can't catch a break. So, if I could have made it till next month, I would be okay because I could pay my rent for probably the rest of the year and be fine. But right now, at this point for May, it was like my struggle point, and I just couldn't make anything shake. Nothing came through for me. Not the job, not the contract that I was supposed to sign for the opportunity with the children's facility, the children in foster care. My work, yes, it's picked up, but the way that it pays slow because it's the federal government, and the way that it's parceled out, that you may work in the middle of the month, and they have up to 30 days to pay you once you complete your assignment. So I have to wait. I know I have money coming, but I don't know when. So it is just it's challenging. Then I'm old. I'm 53. So I don't, I can't, I don't like just getting on the internet and talking about doom and gloom all the time. Um, I like to talk about things, but I'm just not the savvy person. I've never been the savvy person who's able to just BS my way and get a large audience. And they're not going to let me anyway, because the things that I like to talk about are things that help you keep an eye on this system. So we can't, there's really no way for me to get an audience where I could just produce content. And I don't really want to. So I'm just all about what can we do now to um, soften this fall. So one of the things that I was thinking about doing is like a mutual aid group, but I don't even know if I'm going to be here because I may have to leave. I may have to move. So I don't know. Y'all leave me some comments in the comment section. Give me some advice because I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. But anyway, again, I want to thank everybody that supported my campaign. Um, well, what didn't have didn't pass. I'm a service person, so I love working in the nonprofit sector. Working with people, I love working with people. Love helping people, teaching people. But unfortunately, the people that need the help that I love to teach, they don't have the resources to pay. And the people that do have the money to support the types of programs, they don't want to fund those types of programs because they feel like there's no return on their investment. So I don't know. Um, I love working with young adults, the teenage to 18 to 24 aged youth, young adults, because to me they are more appreciative. Um, it's really nice teaching somebody who appreciates what you have to offer. And, nobody's really pouring into the young people. They are our best hope to fight what's coming. The old people kind of have laid down and given up, or they're just afraid they don't want to hear nothing bad, which is terrible, but that's just how it is now. Um, so I don't know. I'm praying that my opportunity with the children's home, um, the foundation that I was going to work with, I hope that comes through. But I'm not holding my breath for anything right now. I'm just like, you know, y'all, what do you want me to do? Where am I supposed to go? What's supposed to happen? I don't want to be homeless. I'm too old to be homeless, and there's nowhere to be homeless here. And like I wouldn't necessarily be homeless because I could always go to live with my parents, but I have to move out of town into a place where I don't want to move because I was trying to avoid being in the city. So this location is rural and it's rural enough, and I wanted to stay here. The cost of living is very reasonable. I could manage to live here off of $1,500 a month, food included. So I got my expenses down as low as I could get them. I'm like on the bare minimum: rent, utilities, internet. The only reason I have internet is because I have to work online. If I didn't need the to work online, I wouldn't even have internet. Um, that's it. And utilities, rent, internet. Oh, cell phone is very cheap, $40 a month. That's my only my tool for communication. $40 a month, and groceries. That's it. Groceries, laundry, that type of thing. So I can manage to live between $1,200 and $1,500. It's a little more in the wintertime because of heat, but um, I can I've gotten things down as low as I can go. If I could find someplace else to rent cheaper than this, I would go for it. As long as it wasn't rat and roach infested, I don't have to worry about snakes and cooters coming in on me. I'd move. And the other thing is, there are a lot of vacant places that nobody's renting, and there are no signs, no nothing. So is a supply of housing, but people don't want to rent because, and I can't blame them because people don't take care of the properties. People can't afford to pay rent. Um, I don't know. It's a bad situation, and we're all going to experience some rough times. So I'm just openly sharing mine because I know that other people are going to experience them. A lot of people that I've tried to tell about this, they wouldn't listen, and now that time is here, and so people are starting to see, but it's a little late. You say everyone appears to be ready to return to the plantation and just get back to planning and picking. I can't say I don't disagree. Even with the story that I did yesterday with the digital uh, colonization. Like, yes, even when you try to warn people, hey, do you realize that all the strolling, all the clicking on the internet, everything that we do, they're just gathering data and selling it and, getting us ready for the digital concentration camp. Oh, we're gonna be in an open air prison. The whole planet is a prison. We've been physically impaired and now we're mentally impaired. So yes, we're already on the plantation. We just don't know. A lot of us, we know. You follow me and some of the other people that talk about this stuff. We're already ensnared. We're trying to figure out ways to get out of the snare, and it is going to require us to opt out of this system. So, it really is going to be, you're going to have to be self-sufficient. You're going to have to build your house. It's nice if you can get some land and get some tents. And all you have to do is worry about paying the taxes. Like Eustace on Mountain Man. I got to go cut some trees so I can pay the taxes on my land. Whatever you got to do to pay those taxes, you got a whole year to be working on it so you can hustle. And it's easier to do if different members of the family can help contribute to that. And y'all clean off the land and you live off the land. The most expensive thing you probably would need to do is get well water. So you'd have to dig a well and maybe have a septic tank so that you can make an outhouse or a toilet or whatever. Those two things are important. So you need to have a way to get rid of human waste, and you need to have water, um, because they're going to make sure it don't rain enough. And whatever, and when it does rain, the rain is going to be so contaminated you're not going to want to put it in your body. So we just got a lot of stuff. Um, Black folks like myself need a reliable team, and that's it. Yes, I know, right? I can't find one. Like, I have all the tools. I got shovels and rakes and hatchets and machetes and toolbox and cordless drills and just hand tools, medical equipment. I have all these things. I don't have a team. My friend that's my team member, he's in Atlanta, and he's doing the city life thing. So he's aware, but also still engaged in the system and hoping to make money. And he's been a blessing to me. I don't want to take anything from him, but I think being in the city, leaving here and being in the city, has excited him and kind of taken his mind off of how close we are to this collapse. And I still think about the Deal report, the 2025 report. A lot of a lot of our people are going to not make it because they're going to not be able to go to the grocery store. They're not going to get food stamps. They're not going to have a job. AI is going to take over like 50% of white collar jobs over the next 1 to 5 years. What do we do? Oh gosh, try to convince your brother. I try to convince my father, my step, my brother, my friends in Florida, begged them to leave from down there. They all live very close to the water, and nobody believes in it. They didn't believe what I said, so I just left. And I don't talk to anybody. After I warn you, I won't talk to you. Once you show me I can't trust you, or you're not mature enough to really understand what's coming, and so that we can prepare, because you can't just decide when they tell you things are bad, it's done. It's too late. But when you have time to look, years and years and years ahead, and say, hey, I can prepare. Let me buy some shovels. Let me get some extra food. Let me get some rice. Let me get some Mylar bags and put this stuff away. Let me get canned goods. Let me clean out my room, or a room in my house, or a section where I can store my stuff. Let me get extra water, because I may not have power. Let me buy, lights and candles and lamps and different things. People just don't listen. And because of the way that the supply chain has been broken down since COVID, it's going to be worse if something bad happens this time, because there are fewer um, ships bringing in imported stuff. The farmers are not producing stuff because all of the help is not going to work. They're not processing food. They're invisible now, or not non-existent. So farmers don't have help. So they're being subsidized, but no food is being grown. Or if it's being grown, it's not being picked. It's just going bad. Um, It's just gonna get so bad. You think Greece, what happened in Greece was bad? You wait until they say you can't go to the bank and get your money. You wait until, yes, domestic allotments. That's what's coming. So you've got to pay them to pay attention, and we're not we've uh, not got that type of resources. Right. I don't have time to pay you to pay attention. And the things that people pay attention to are crazy. Like, I have a friend, he talks about, you know, um, all the boots on the ground and this one dancing, just, it just seems like the men are distracted with lustful, worldly stuff. The women are distracted with uh, hating men and Miss Independent, I'm bad. Uh, the elderly people are trying to be young. Just, I mean, our community is just screwed up. And one of my friends, he was just like, I don't know what's going to happen unless God flips a switch. We are going to be doomed, and we all say that. I don't really have any women except for my sister, only Pamela's Way, who follows, this channel. That's the only woman I know who is awakened, and she's pretty much in the same predicament as I am. Like, we are just, trying to hold it together, and we just can't get stuff right. So, um, you know, she's had some obstacles where, she had money that was basically confiscated and not returned to her. It was her money that she had in the bank. The bank just took it, and then so it put her in a bind and made her, um, homeless, and it just it's one bad thing after the next, and it just seems like she can't get a, a a place in life to just start over, start fresh, have things work out for us. And people are helping her, but it's not the kind of people that when you're awakened and you're preparing, you want to be around. You're just like around the walking dead for all intended purposes. So yeah, I feel you. Um, my friend in Atlanta, he tried to convince his family to buy land. Nobody wants to buy land. Now I do know people who I know at least two people who have land and want people to come and help. And one lives in a little town called Calhoun Falls. It's a black pastor. It's a lot of land. But I'm always kind of skeptical about those types of deals because I just haven't seen like, I don't know. It's just something about the setup. Like, people just become power hungry. They don't want to share. Just all kinds of bad things happen. So I don't know. We just we suck. People suck. People suck. Oh, you said they're exporters. Exporters. Um. Oh, extorters. Yes. Yes. We live with extortionists all around us. If you don't pay people, um, I don't know. Everybody is extorting, and so we should anticipate this to be accelerated. The stores, grocery stores, are extortionists. The banks, they extort us. Our jobs extort us. Employers, like, I was reading something about this gig economy and how they transitioned us to this, and that's basically when you say you're an independent consultant, you're basically a gigger. I'm working a gig economy, and so, that keeps the employer from, paying us a fair wage. Um, it's just everything. You look at, Uber, Uber Eats, all these different types of ride share, Airbnb, like everybody, no matter what you do, there's some type of intermediary that's always getting money, and they didn't do nothing but just have a platform for you to list your stuff, and it's more popular because they have the money to do the marketing, when you could just rent your stuff yourself and cut out the middle person, cut out the money that you spend giving them a cut on your end, and then we pay fees for using the site on our side. So they're making money hand over fist, and you could just cut out the middle person and give the money directly to the person who you're renting from or who you're riding with. But I mean, everything about this system is a scam, and that's why they call it digital colonialism again, because I mean, it's just a new form of colonization. The same people are in charge of everything. Family are religious leaders. Yes, everybody extorts, unfortunately. I can't disagree with you. Every single person that I know, like even your family and your friends, like if you're not of any use to them, they don't care about you at all. They're just like, oh well, whatever. I, too bad, so sad. I can't do nothing for you. You don't have nothing for me. I don't have anything for you. Would you have something? I have something for you. And people are lazy. Like, the guy next door, well, he doesn't live next door, but the lot that I have, one reason that I would like to stay in this place is because the man next door basically gave me a lot, an entire lot to till up, and I can plant anything I want. I could plant enough food for this entire little section of community. And I have a public housing complex right up the street. The ladies that live there and the old men, if they get food stamps or whatever, they could just give me some seeds every month. They could take $10 and buy seeds and just give them to me. I would gladly go outside and plant that stuff, because for me it's therapy. It keeps me from being stressed. But you can't even get people to understand times are changing. They'll see you working and just look at you. No, they're not interested in helping at all. So I don't know. I This is a separation period for sure. I think the Most High is showing those of us who are awakened what it's going to be like, who you're going to be able to count on. And I hate that we have to live during this time where we can't give people the benefit of the doubt anymore. Like, you have to make a decision quick. Oh, this person is not anybody that want to be on my team. I don't want no bossy, unruly, disrespectful women to be on my team. If you can't be a team member, I don't want you. If you got to be talking back and having a bad attitude, you can't work with me. And unfortunately, a lot of our women and men have those attitudes. I find more women than anything. But it's gonna be ugly, because a lot of women are gonna get ready to find out that nobody wants to deal with them and their bad attitudes. Nobody. Not a one person. So um I'm gonna come back on. I'm gonna do another live. I hear the train is coming, so I know I need it in my video now. So anyway, thank you so much, Radical New Sailbot. Uh, is that noob Sailbot? I had to look and see. I can't see. But thank you so much for coming to the chat and watching the video. And I pray that your family gets situated, they find housing. Um, don't feel like you're alone. I'm here, professional woman, degree, um, going through the same thing. I don't have that type of support. But I'm believing in the Most High is going to make things happen. But just remember to tell your mom that the government is still holding up HUD funds. They're trying to close HUD, like they're trying to close down the Department of Education. So they're having to go through this litigation process. And until then, all the money is frozen. So they are trying to do what the president tells them to do, but they have to go through this process where the Supreme Court basically is going to side with the government, side with the president in this administration, or say you have to release those funds. So I don't know what's going to happen. And even if they say it's illegal, they may release the funds for this fiscal year, but next year they may go through Congress and strip those funds or reduce the funds for these housing programs and TANF and SNAP and all these other assistance programs that people rely on. So um, whatever is in this big beautiful bill, from my understanding, what they've cut from these social safety net programs, they've already allocated to the Pentagon, so that money is going towards war. So what we can expect is to be on a war footing or have a war economy, and a lot of the safety net programs are going to be gone away, or they're going to be greatly reduced. It's going to be new requirements, or you're not going to be able to access them at all, especially if you're young and able bodied. So tell mom to just keep that in mind, but it definitely does not help. um, yep, it's going to be gone permanently, because my thought process is this country as a nation is going to be dissolved in every state. It's going to be like it was during the Civil War, before the Civil War, where it's going to have a union of states, or states are going to be doing whatever, but it's going to be like like the Great Reset, the New World Order. Everything is going to be about globalism, a world with no borders. So I don't know. Um, I don't think we are ready for it, but I do think that some of those funds are going to be released, just by the type of programs that I've been working with, and that I've been seeing the um, notices of funding availability come out for. A lot of the stuff has just come out this month, which means the applications will go in June, and then July and August, September. September 30th is the end of the federal fiscal year. October 1st is the new year. So I don't know what they're going to do about the funding. What about veterans benefits? So as far as veterans benefits go, veterans benefits falls into the same category as like pensions for uh, um, people who have retired from the federal government. Like, they're on the hook. They have to continue to pay you, but they may pay you a reduced rate. Right now, they're not saying anything about those benefits. I don't think they're going to do anything about veterans benefits, the money, but they have been reducing other benefits. Like, they've laid off a lot of veteran doctors, physicians, nurse practitioners. Services have been greatly reduced at veterans hospitals and veteran care facilities. So, those are the types of things that you have to worry about. They may not touch your pension or your benefits if you receive disability, VA disability, but you may have fewer resources, um, like healthcare, mental health services, those types of things, clinics in your community. They may send you to another type of clinic, depending on where you live. So, those are the types of things that you have to be concerned about. Social Security, I don't know if they're going to try to get elderly off, or try to do something with the disabled or young people and SSI. I don't know, but they're looking at cutting out a lot of stuff. So we have to just keep watch of the bills that are coming out. That big beautiful bill that's 1,000 pages. I haven't had a chance to go through it yet, but I'm going to go through it so I can look and see for myself, and just kind of share with y'all what is going to likely happen. Um, I know there's a fuss about Medicaid, and Medicaid cuts, and the reason for the fuss with the Republicans is because if the federal government cuts Medicaid, it goes to the states. And a lot of these Republican senators come from states that rely on more federal aid than state aid. So if the federal aid is cut out, they have to pay the difference, and they don't want to do that. He said, I don't like talking much due to playing air. Is always paying attention. I don't want it. Yes, yes, we have to. Yes. Yes, read the bill. I definitely understand about the talking in the plant air. I feel you. So I'm going to end my video now, but thank you for hanging around. Make sure you just keep up with what's going on, because there's a lot of stuff going on with these bills, um, and they're gonna stick stuff in. They're gonna pass it late night, sometime when people are not paying attention or something else significant happens, and just all the other stuff that you have to worry about. You can't worry about everything, but you do have to be proactive. I would be doing a disservice if I just said, "Oh, don't worry about nothing. Just let God handle it." God told us to prepare for um, 7 years of bad years, 7 years of famine. That's what it's famine. So you have 7 good years, fat years, 7 lean years. So just know that we have to prepare as best we can, to include being homeless and having to sleep at a campground, uh, at the lake. I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of people when I go fishing, they like living at the lake. They got tents, they got canoes, they're living in their SUVs, and they just camp. And it's not in a park, so don't have to worry about paying to stay there. They just camp right on off the side of the road at the lake. So we're going to talk about that, where you can stay if you're homeless, because it might be me. So anyway, love y'all so much. This is Marley K. Leave me your feedback in the comment section. And again, thank you all for supporting my GoFundMe emergency assistance campaign. I really do appreciate it. Y'all saved my life this month. You did. Even though I still did not get to pay my rent, y'all helped me pay everything else so that I can keep working so that I could do what I need to do. So I thank you so much. Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. To the moon and back. All right, this is Marley K, and I am out.